store is now on Main Street. And apparently the mother died. And when someone died, they had to do the burial real quick because the body decomposed. There wasn't any means of refrigeration to keep the body cool. And so they had the funeral, and they took her up to the Salt Lake City Cemetery, and they buried her. And they all went back to their home on 3rd East with the Relief Society, and the Relief Society was feeding them and taking care of them, and they were having a little get-together. And they heard a knock on their, a pounding on the door, and they opened the door, and there she stood after she had been buried. And what had happened is that everybody came back to the house, and some grave robbers came in there and immediately dug up the grave, and they wanted the finger on her, they wanted the ring on her finger, and they couldn't get it off, and so they cut her finger off, and it started the blood to really start going again, and she came out of that disease she had. They call it a shock disease in the Army, where someone got a bomb exploded close to them, and it appeared as though they weren't breathing or they weren't alive. The only way they could tell if a body was dead in those days was to put a feather under its nose, the victim's nose, or to put a mirror under there to see if it would produce steam. And so they tried those two techniques, and they assumed she was dead.
Yeah.
But she really wasn't. And she came up and walked from the cemetery back to the house.
With no finger.
Without a finger. And she came to the house in the things that she was buried in, and she lived 2 years after that before actually dying. But they say she wasn't well mentally.
And who was this in relation to you?
My great-grandmother.